Welcome to another edition of Swim Easy Speed. Today we're going to look at a submission from Reddit on the Triathlon Swim Advice forum that I started. And a guy dropped 2 videos. I edited them together, so here they are. So here he is swimming from the side. You can see his tempo is a little bit slow. It's just a little too deliberate. But, the body position looks okay. I mean, from about here to here, he's okay, but then you can see it kind of really drops off here. We'll talk a little bit about why it's dropping off like this and, how to fix it. So, the first thing is we want to look at is, okay, how's he breathing? Both those goggles you can see right here coming out of the water. So there's one. He's also looking back here. You really want to try to look a little bit more forward. And then, take that breath where you're in the pocket and you don't have to move the head as much as you think. And the body certainly doesn't have to go along with it. And we'll get to see what that's doing to his stroke underneath the water. You can see on the breath, especially on this side, he's way onto his side. You can see how much the feet come apart again, which is creating drag, which is also just dragging that back end down with him. So that would be one of the things that we'd want to focus on. It doesn't look like he's crossing over at the front of the stroke. It might be a little bit on the left right here. So you can see this is kind of going here. It's tough to tell from this angle that he's crossing over, but it wouldn't hurt to get him a little bit of the position 11 drill, the stick drill, whatever you want to call it, and just get it everything driving a little bit more straightforward. So here we get to see, where the propulsion is and what's going on underneath the stroke. So quite honestly, this looks okay. You can tell just by the way the movement is that he's not getting a really great grab, just because it looks like, by the time it goes through there, he's not pulling any water. So you'd like to see him get a little bit more feel for the water. The sensory mitts from Aquavolo can really help with that, to get you that feel for the water. So let's move this up like this. Typically you'd like to see this somewhere between about 100 to 110 degrees. So what that would be would look like, the elbows out here more. That's going to bring the hand up a little bit more. And then hopefully what we do is track kind of in line with that shoulder. So it's effectively going to move this up a little bit. That goes out, but stays in about the same line. And then when we go on the other side, you can see how much that breath is really impacting his stroke. So here's where where he's losing a lot. If we look here, so there's midline now. Hand is way out here. So it'd effectively be like the equivalent of trying to lift yourself out of the pool by putting your hands as far away from your shoulders as possible and pressing up. And there just isn't any leverage there. There isn't any leverage for him to get right there. So right here at the most critical point of the stroke during the catch, where you want to try to get that initial big grab, big bite on the water, he doesn't have any leverage to do it. So then that hand just sweeps across the body. And you can see, if we figure as he rotates back through, here's midline now. That hand's crossing over just like the on the top of the stroke. And it definitely looks like he's crossing over here on the entry. At the top of the stroke, you don't want the left hand to go on the right side. You don't want the right hand to go on the left side, down crossing that midline. Same thing underwater. You don't want that to happen. You can also see back here that foot's coming really down. And all of that, anytime you see kind of the feet kind of going all over the place, going really low in the water, side to side, doing a scissor kick, those are all things to try and balance out the body in the water, that there's more instability being created than the core can handle. So then you do a scissor kick. This foot right here comes way down. Typically we see crossover like that, that are all ways for the athlete or trying to increase the amount of stability they have in the water. So what we want to do is try to make it where we don't create instability, because we're already in a very dynamic, unstable environment. So we don't want to, by the movement we're making, we don't want to increase that instability. We want to try to make it as minimal as possible so that we can drive all the strokes straight forward. All of the power, all the efficiency that we're generating, we want all of that in the service of driving us straight forward, just because drag is so costly. That would be the my analysis for this stroke. I'll include in the description some links to some drills for him to do to help correct some of the stuff that I see. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm always happy to answer your questions. If you see something that might be impacting your stroke, let me know. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the pool soon.